Hello, beloved. You are loved by Jesus. Another friendly welcome to Always on Bible with Glenda Johns. Assuming you have clicked on the subscribe and like buttons and shared with a friend, I want to remind you that I'm guiding you through this series called A Fresh Look at Revelation. I trust you are learning a lot and digesting within your spirit the core of this story, which is the extreme love that Jesus has for all humanity. The purpose for this book of Revelation is to express his undying mercy that he is extending to the Jewish people and to all who choose to believe. They are being preserved throughout these horrific 7 years, just so as to give them another chance to relent and receive Jesus during his reign in the upcoming 1,000 years. However, we have some ground to cover first. In our study, we are now in the midst of the blowing of the seventh trumpet in this episode 13. Last time I shared a description of the 4 resurrections that will occur when Jesus cries for the second time in history, "Come up here." To review a bit, I explained that there were 7 events that would occur during the blowing of the 7th trumpet. Then I covered the first 3, the killing of the 2 witnesses, the Jerusalem earthquake, and the mid-tribulation resurrections. I promised you that there are 3 more references in Revelation that are descriptive of these mid-tribulation resurrections. I will now name these 3 references before continuing with the next event, which is number 4 of the 7th trumpet. We are now interpreting the events of the 7th trumpet and listing 3 separate references in Revelation that are fulfilled during the mid-tribulation resurrections. They are number 1, the fulfillment of God's mysterious plan. This refers to the 144,000 Jews who are a part of God's mysterious plan. The angel in chapter 10, verse 7, told John that this plan would be fulfilled at the blowing of the 7th trumpet. These Jews, who are probably still alive on earth, will be included in the living righteous who are raptured from the earth at Jesus' call to come up here. They are the missing part of the bride in heaven. Their mission is now over, and they are raptured to join with the church before the throne, completing the fulfillment of God's mysterious plan and the Lamb's bride in heaven. In Revelation 14:1, John sees these 144,000 in heaven around the throne. In Revelation 7:9 through 17, he saw a vast crowd in heaven, too many to number, separate from the 144,000. That's when one of the elders informs John that these are the ones saved out of the tribulation. How were they saved? From the witnessing of the 144,000, of course. Because their converts are seen separate from the 144,000 confirms that it is the 144,000 who are a part of the bride, not their converts. These 144,000 are further described to John in chapter 14, 4 through 5, as a bride presented to the Lamb. The description of them that John sees after they have arrived in heaven reads as follows. They are called virgins, for they have not defiled themselves with women. They follow the Lamb everywhere. They have been purchased with a dowry from among the people. They are a special offering, like a presented gift to the Lamb by the Father God. Their talk is clean. They are without blame. This description sounds like and is a detailed picture of a bride, confirming the fact that they are part of the bride and assuring us that they meet the bride's qualification. It is not suggesting that God would call forth only virgin men. Like us, they probably were not. Nor does it suggest that God ever considers the marital state to be one of defilement, nor is physical virginity a requirement to be called by God. Sadly, these two verses are usually misinterpreted to mean their physical qualities, not their spiritual ones. I believe these verses were written by God in order to assure us that the 144,000 will be a part of the bride of Christ. Now, the second group that was included in those resurrections is when in Revelation 14, Jesus swings a sickle, reaping the earth of the living righteous. Included in the resurrections of all the righteous are those alive on earth at the seventh trumpet. This group was again shown to John in Revelation 14, verses 14 through 16, where he sees a vision of Jesus holding a sickle. An angel cries out to Jesus that the earth is now ripe for judgment, not of the wicked, but of the righteous. As Jesus swings his sickle over the earth, it is reaped of all living righteous. Emphasis here is on living people, for the sickle can only reap those alive, not dead in their graves. It is not the dead plants that are reaped with a sickle in harvest, but living plants. This would be another picture of the rapture of the living righteous from the earth described in Revelation 11:18. It is not a different or another rapture. Number 3, the rewarding of the martyrs. The third group is mentioned later in Revelation chapter 20, verse 4, which describes the completed bride of Christ, who are the combined church and the 144,000 sitting on thrones, ready to judge the souls of those who were martyred during the tribulation. Because it is martyred souls who are being, quote, judged, this must be a direct reference to the souls John witnessed under the altar in heaven at the fifth seal, plus possibly many others who were martyred. Because it is the bride who judges these martyrs, I believe that the 144,000 Jews are not among the martyrs from the tribulation. This quote as a judgment, however, is not one of saved versus the lost, but rather a confirmation of the special reward due to those who are martyred. I am certain the bride makes a good recommendation. The next verse, Revelation 20, verse 5, describes these martyrs as being the first resurrection. Wait a minute, you're probably thinking. Jesus has been resurrected. The church has been resurrected, and we just saw all those righteous resurrected out of the tribulation. How then is it that these martyrs are the first resurrection? The answer is that there are only two resurrections. When you speak of eternity and resurrection, there are only two kinds of people: the saved and the lost. Nothing else matters. Not nationalities, color of skin, intelligence, or good works, to name a few things. There are only two resurrections, that of the saved and that of the lost. The saved have now all been resurrected, the first resurrection, but the lost are yet to be resurrected, which will be the second resurrection. One to life, to live forever with God, the other to suffer forever in the lake of fire. This reminds me of the saying, those who are born twice die only once, but those who are born only once will die twice. That sounds good, but the sad part is that if you have not been born again, you will live forever, just not with God. If you're not sure about your second birth, you can settle that right now. God is waiting for you. He's done his part. He died and paid the price for your salvation. The ball's now in your court, not his. He's waiting for you to come to him. But you ask, how do I do that? How do I come to him? It's easy. Don't dress in your finest. He won't be impressed. Don't come to him proudly, presenting your life's accomplishment, for you possess nothing that qualifies you. And don't list your assets, for you have none. He is the one qualified, able, and willing to receive you. All you have to do is say yes. Yes, here I am. Talk to him. And yes, he will hear you. Come to him empty-handed. He will not fill your hands, but he'll fill your life, your heart, and change you into a person that you never dreamed you could ever be. We must conclude this episode. There is even more to occur during the blowing of the seventh trumpet, and you don't want to miss one of these episodes. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with someone new.